Warning. Channel Robozoid contains adult language, adult content, strong opinions, and verbal brutality. Viewer discretion is advised.
We are fucked.
We are fucked.
The Supreme Court struck down the Louisiana majority district.
Tell them to take the shower cap off.
This practically guts Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act.
White racist Republicans are going to eliminate almost every single black Democrat in the South by 2028 because of this Supreme Court decision.
You're white yourself.
We must be ready to fight back in all of the states controlled by Democrats. So I expect us to draw a map like this in California for 2028. Maybe we let them have one Republican seat because we need to be ready.
Hello, it is I, the Robozoid, your semi-likable and occasionally tolerable curmudgeon of both the Rumble and YouTube airwaves. I don't know whether I should play the national anthem or not. I don't know whether I should open a beer and celebrate, because quite frankly, I do feel like celebrating, because apparently it seems that the Supreme Court, in all of their wisdom, actually decided to overturn some voting rule, or basically some sort of gerrymandering rule that in which the Democrats are in full panic mode because, well, they tried to rig the elections, and while it may have worked in Virginia, it's not working anywhere else. Actually, it is working in Virginia because the northern part of Virginia actually did end up going red, much to the Democrats' chagrin, because they thought that was going to wind up being a blue territory.
And there was much rejoicing.
There is pretty good reason for rejoicing, and why not? I mean, oh, what do you know? I just happen to have one handy right with me for celebrating. Now, I know I shouldn't be drinking these on the air, but I really do feel like celebrating here. Excuse me. I really do feel like celebrating with a bottle of booze, because this is the best news I've heard so far. And to think the Democrats were trying to gerrymander and rig the entire election to make the entire top portion of Virginia blue. Blue no matter who, right? Just take a look at this.
Good morning. Okay, so this at first blush here is a win for the plaintiffs who were not black plaintiffs. They were non-minority voters who challenged this decision. These two districts that were minority majority, essentially, Louisiana had drawn up districts, and then they were told in a legal battle that they had not represented black and minority voters sufficiently. They went back and drew a second district. So they had two of these minority majority districts. Well, then non-black voters sued and said, this is now violating our rights on the basis of race. So it looks like this is a 6-3 decision. There is one concurrence here, but it looks like the dissent sticks together with Justices Kagan, Sotomayor, and Jackson. But here's what the majority say, and some, because the Voting Rights Act did not require Louisiana to create an additional majority-minority district. No compelling interest justified the state's use of race in creating SB 8. That was those two new districts. That map is an unconstitutional gerrymander, and its use would violate the plaintiff's constitutional rights. Now, this opinion is almost 100 pages long, so we're going through to see if it says something more broadly about the Voting Rights Act. That had been the fear on the left, that somehow this decision, if it was favorable for those challenging these maps, that it would somehow do a big chunk out of the Voting Rights Act. Haven't gotten to language that suggests that yet. It sounds like this decision is primarily about what happened in Louisiana. So we'll keep digging through this. But for right now, it's a win for those who were challenging these two minority-majority districts. Now, as we read through this and figure out the broader implications, there were 20-plus districts across the country that would have potentially lined up with this decision. They could be open to challenges that they were drawn on the basis of race, or that it was the primary factor that was used in drawing those districts. Most of those are throughout the South. So we'll look to see if there's enough sweeping language in this particular decision that may have a domino effect on some 20 other districts. Could be huge for the midterms.
You see, what the Democrats attempted to do was to try to gerrymander the Virginia election in the northern section by basically allowing the D.C. suburbs to have more of a say in their election, thereby basically canceling out the votes of rural Virginians. And, well, that's what they were trying to do. At least that's what they thought they could get away with. And as it turns out, they really couldn't get away with that at all. So, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see how things actually turn out. But For the meantime, a crisis has been averted, which actually has the Democrats in full crisis mode because now they don't know what the hell to do about trying to rig the election in their favor, especially, and that's important to remember, especially in the year of this midterm election.
Being 79, I come from a Jim Crow era where blacks were second class citizens. It will not happen again.
Emotions are running high here at the Florida State Capitol in Tallahassee, where Governor Ron DeSantis just proposed new maps that could
Oh yes, did I mention this is also happening in Florida as well?
Diminish the voices of Democratic voters.
It's just not fair, it's just not legal, it's just not right, it's not good for our democracy.
And this
Actually, it is fair and legal. You're just a crybaby.
Here to the Capitol, out in protest.
Hands off our maps!
Now, Republicans
And hands off those liberal bodies.
and the
Ugh.
governor's mansion here in Florida, which means that even though the legislature needs to vote on this proposal, it's widely expected to pass.
They're trying to dilute and get rid of those districts so they have any voice at all.
You could say one thing directly to Governor DeSantis right now, what would you tell him?
Get your hands off of our voting rights.
No one's putting their hands on you,
I
bitch.
think all of us have.
You serious?
Strength by projecting control, but I think it's obviously coming from a place of weakness. I mean, if he had nothing to be scared
Look at this
of, he wouldn't have to
weakling.
do this.
And for some voters, like
Speaking
Roman
of
Oliver,
weakness.
who grew up during Jim Crow, he says this moment is drawing parallels to the disenfranchisement of his childhood.
I feel bad about it. Not for me, because I have a short time being here. But for my grandchildren, my great-grands, I do not want them going through what I experienced.
You could obviously hear the emotion in that old man's voice. You could hear it. You could see it. I mean, this sort of thing happened to him growing up during an era of Jim Crow, and he is determined not to let that happen to his children or his grandchildren. He knows that he doesn't have much time left on this planet. He's an old man. He doesn't have to worry about that. But future generations, that's what he's most concerned with, and you can understand what he's going through. Of course, you're going to have basically things like, let us say, the Democrats who are going to basically pander to the black Democrats, excuse me. Did I say black Southerners? I meant to say black Democrats that obviously enjoy being ideological slaves to their Democrat masters because they can't help themselves and they don't know any better. I'm not saying they're incredibly stupid, even though a good many of them are. They just don't know any better. Take a look.
Have had a 400+ year head start. 400 years worth of generational wealth stolen from our ancestors, Native Americans, ancestors, mind you, stolen.
Do you really need the shower cap?
Took it.
You're not in the shower.
And have had a 400+ year head start and generational wealth. And they can't even handle black people having one full generation of bare minimum voting right access. Bare minimum. We ain't even nowhere near the same level what y'all got.
Why do you insist on acting like a bear?
My grandmother is almost 80. And in her lifetime, she has literally gone from black people hardly having any voting rights, especially black women, to gaining a semblance of voting rights, to now those voting rights being back on the chopping block in one lifetime span. Grandmother. This is,
So, I saw that the Supreme Court just ruled on the Voting Rights Act case. I'm getting ready for work, but yeah, they made that shit weaker. The Republicans are
No, they made that
rid of
shit
majority
stronger.
black and majority
You're just too
Latino
dumb to
districts.
notice.
Because partisan gerrymandering is totally fine. It's only the racial gerrymandering that they have a problem with.
Stop whining.
Is that what they really believe? They really believe that the Republicans are behind this just to basically suppress or hold back the black vote. Is that what they really think? They got to be most of them really are as dumb as I think they are, and as dumb as they look. Especially the one beast there with the shower cap. I mean, really, what is with the shower cap? Don't tell me you just got out of the shower, because if you did, you would not be wearing a t-shirt. Your body would still be wet, and I don't want to think about it, okay? I do not need that visual image. But nevertheless, yeah, these people are going to boo-hoo, whine, and cry about it. They're going to completely complain about it and say, yeah, because you had a racially motivated, one racially motivated area in which a bunch of blue districts all of a sudden became red, and now you got black Democrats boo-hoo, whining, and crying about that, all because, oh, apparently it's only it's gerrymandering if the Republicans do it, which they hardly ever do. I won't say they never do it, but sometimes they have done it. But the Democrats have done it more frequently and usually better than anybody else I've ever seen or any other political party on this planet. So quite honestly, I don't know what they're bitching about. They need to stop it with the boo-hoo, whining, and crying. I mean, do you want white people to respect you? Do you want Asians to respect you? Do you want Hispanics to respect you? You want respect, then you got to stop whining. You got to stop complaining that everything is racially motivated. Oh, the system is against us. It is not. You're against yourself. Don't you understand, black Democrats? You are your own worst enemy. And that's an absolute fact. And don't try to debate that, because that's what the Robozoid is here to do. Give the facts whenever I can, and wherever I see them, wherever I find them, because there's no denying with facts, even if they're stubborn things. This has been the Robozoid saying, hey, open up a beer, celebrate. The SCOTUS made the right decision. And until then, I will see you in another video very soon. So stop bitching and whining, stop complaining. Above all else, just accept what is, okay? And move on with your lives. And get on with your life. That's all I ask, for God's sake. Be here or be absolutely nowhere else, or just be with the boo-hoo whiners and criers that just want to complain all the time that everything is so unfair. Yeah, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, hoo.